Hello. Hey,
Hello.
Angelica.
Hey, Jazz.
Hey. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. For those of you guys who have not seen us yet, this is JA Millionaire Circle. And on this channel, we like to, it's basically two ambitious Latina women who have defied all the odds considering where we began to where we are now. And we're still breaking boundaries and trying to get to the next level. The goal of this show is to kind of share our experiences and our wins, our losses, our lessons learned, and we're still going after it. And we hope that we inspire you along the way. So my background, I'm Jasmine. I was born to a teenage mother, first generation Mexican American myself, and started my life in poverty. And I transformed my life from poverty to college graduate, six figure earner, solo traveler, and now I help other women overcome those self-limiting beliefs. So, and then we have Angelica over here.
Hey. So I grew up in a tough situation, much like Jasmine, to a teenage mother. Mother was pregnant at 14, had me at 14, 15 years old. My parents were incarcerated my whole life for selling drugs, so I spent time in child protective services and aged out. And I had, like every other child, probably went through bullying. So bullying in school, bullying not only from school but from family members, because they thought I would end up just like my mother or just like my father. So that was what I went through, but I didn't let it define me. I earned 3 degrees. I just finished my master's in criminal justice, and I spent 10 years in property management and real estate. So I learned Spanish there. I actually was fluent. My mother was locked up, so I couldn't learn. So I watched all the novellas, and I worked at, a Latino community, and that's how I learned Spanish. And it's not as fluent as I wanted to be, but it's getting there. And I am now trying to explore opening my own business as Jasmine is. We're both learning to be new entrepreneurs. I make luxury watch boxes, and my husband is a real estate broker and owns a real estate company in Texas. And we're just this power couple trying to make it.
Yay, love it. Perfect, perfect. So that's a quick 30-second spiel of our backgrounds. And so let's get into it today. So today, what we thought would be really fun to start with was like a song, because we something that Angelica and I really bonded on from the get-go was music, and how music can inspire us, motivate us. And it really was like I have whole playlists like dedicated to certain parts of my life that I was trying to accomplish a goal, and it really fuels you and motivates you. So this week I wanted us to kind of share like maybe 30-second clip of like a song that has motivated us or kind of spoke to us this week, and then we'll go into the topics of the day. So do you want to start off first, Angelica? What is your song?
Sure. My song of the week right now is a new mix that just dropped. It's from Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, and
Oh,
it's
I've
mixed.
heard that song. That's such a
But
good song.
yeah, but it's mixed with Cascade, I Remember You.
Ooh, okay. So well, first tell me why it stood out to you, and then play it.
Well, as you know, well, these people don't know the audience. Mine and
Right.
Jasmine's dads were DJs. So we have this different love for music that we both just bond on. Like she said, I have a specific playlist called Head High because I used to love Cascade in my early 20s, and I used a lot of that music to channel my motivation to pursue college. And now that I am done with college, it's kind of like a remix of where I am now with my life. And so here it is. I'll show you guys.
Yeah, let's go. Ooh, what a beat. Oh my God, I love that.
I
That's
did
so
it.
fun. I love EDM. Oh my gosh, my siblings will tell you. I mean, I'm just a few years ahead of you. So when EDM dropped, I was like right in the thick of college. I was living my best life. Lived in basically Vegas every other weekend. So
Pool
it's,
parties.
yes, it's very nostalgic for me for sure. Oh, I love that one.
Yes, I was obsessed with Calvin Harris, and I wanted to marry him. And till
What's
this
not to
day,
like?
I try to tell my husband not to be jealous. He's married, but I'm like, I was gonna end up with Calvin Harris, but I found you first. So
Yeah, you leveled up.
yeah. What about
So
you?
my song, and it's so it's on the opposite side of the spectrum, but this is a Disney song, and a lot of Disney music actually really has motivated and inspired me throughout the years, as cheesy as that sounds since I'm an adult. But this song is so like on point to what I'm experiencing right now as I've left my 9 to 5 and I'm pursuing my businesses full time. You know, so this one has been my theme song right now, and it's from the movie The Princess and the Frog, and it's
Oh,
called Almost There.
cute.
But I don't care.
That's so cute. It gave me goosebumps. I never got to finish the Disney movies because I was in Child Protective Services. We didn't have that, but it gave me butterflies. I need to watch the movie.
You need to do Disney as an adult. That's something me and my siblings have done. We've gone back, like for my sister's 30th birthday, we all got together, all the siblings, and we went to Disneyland and we just had a ball. It was just like reliving our childhood again, but the right way.
Yeah,
So,
no trauma.
it was awesome. So, so we got the juices flowing now. So the two topics that we wanted to go into today was the first one was, you know, what was we mentioned this in the last podcast, but I thought maybe I should go in a little bit more detail of the series of events that occurred from when I decided to start a business to like when I quit. Like there was a lot of things that happened in between, and I would like to kind of just touch on those series of events.
Yeah.
And then the other part that the second half, we're gonna cover, you know, how to determine your dream life and what like actionable steps can you start taking towards that dream life. So, so the series of events that happened. So this started, I want to say January, February of 2023, because I think previous to that, I had never really considered starting my own business. It actually all started when I was dating somebody. I was dating this person that had created some kind of like software and sold it off and like bought his house in cash, and like, so he was a very like inspiring individual. And so like this guy, you know, kind of pushed me, you know, to think even bigger, you know, in dating him. The sad thing was it ended up not working with him. And I remember being absolutely devastated. I mean, I fall to the ground, devastated. Angelica was there. She even sent me a little gift because she knows how heartbroken I was when it didn't work out. But I've always been a person of like, okay, how do I use either rejection, raw emotion, negativity, and use it as a productive way to propel me forward? That's always been my go-to. I've never been like, now I fall apart. Now it's like, okay, what do I use this for? It's got to be
What
something
did you
positive.
learn?
Yes, what did I learn and how can I propel it towards something I want to do? And my go-to has always been put on some music, get on the treadmill, move, walk, or whatever. Just move, and all of a sudden the ideas start coming to you. Inspiration starts coming to you. And I remember being on the treadmill getting so angry, going like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to start my own business. I don't know, some crazy thought like popped in my head. I'm like, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to be more successful than this guy. And then I just started writing down on my notebook on my phone. I'm like, okay, what would my brand represent? And I'm like, okay, I started describing the person I wanted to be. Like, you know, I would be really good in etiquette, and I'd be this and I'd be that. And I would just, I'm like, what is going to be me as a person's brand, and then my company's brand. And so it just kind of like wrote itself out on, you know, on my notepad. And then so I had the business idea, I had like the branding idea, and then it just took some time. And then it was crazy. It's like the seed had been planted. And then after that, it was almost like every resource that I tapped into, every podcast, something would like spark me, and I would call Angelica. I'm like, oh my God, Angelica, I'm so pumped up. I just listened to this one thing and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'd be speaking 100 miles an hour, and I don't even know how she even listened to me because I'd be so pumped up.
It was the best energy. You transcended it. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get your LLC? Like, what was the process?
That's great. Thank you so much for asking. Yes. So it took watching a bunch of YouTube tutorials. So the funny thing is, a lot of people pay third-party like companies to do it for you because it is like legal documentation and all of that. But believe it or not, I found a YouTube tutorial that walked me step by step on how to register an LLC in the state I'm in. And so I just literally paused it, did the piece, paused it, did the piece, like, and I did it. I did it all by myself. And
Heck
so
yeah.
I did the LLC, and I think all in all, the LLC took like a day. It took just like maybe a business week to finally get confirmation. But there's a bunch of little steps that happened in there too, because when you start your LLC, the part that some people don't realize is that whatever address you put on your LLC becomes public record. So I made sure that I was aware of that, and then I had to go start a virtual mailbox and a registered agent and all of these other details. And I would just highly recommend watching YouTube tutorials on this, because I had to make sure I had an address that was not my home address, because of the fact that it becomes public record. So, and then the other thing I had to go do was register for an EIN number. And an EIN number is like a social security number for your business. And so now that I had my LLC documentation proof, then I went to a bank, and for me, I wanted to work with American Express for, my first business account. So I took all that information to American Express, applied for my business bank account, got it granted. So then I am on documentation, on paperwork. I was an up and running business, but I hadn't really had a business yet. I just had all the paperwork. I had done all the foundation, and now I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And so, I met with a tax consultant, and I kind of talked to him with like what were my goals and what I was trying to do. And then he led me to he made it seem like it was so easy to make money. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I couldn't wrap my head around that yet. I was thinking like, okay, I work my 9 to 5. If I'm not working my 9 to 5, like, what do you mean I have to show sales and profits? And so then that's when I thought, okay, what am I good at? What do I get a lot of compliments for? And a lot of it is like my guidance and my advice to women. Most of my friends and family have come back and go like, you've given me amazing insight, guidance, perspective. So I thought, why not make that my business? And so start consulting with women and help improve the quality of their lives. So I started a website. So now I'm up and running. I have a business, I have a brand, I have everything in motion. And then I got busy back with my 9 to 5. And the funny thing was, I didn't realize this, but by planting that seed, every day I went to my 9 to 5, the more and more miserable I became, because the 9 to 5 no longer aligned with me. It just didn't resonate with me, even though I had worked a decade in that industry and it meant the world to me when I got started. But then after that, it wasn't fitting anymore. And every little thing, every little mild inconvenience felt like the end of the world. Everything that I loved about the job now was killing me. The travel, the long hours, the business dinners, all of these things that I used to love now were killing my soul, because I realized I want to work for myself now. And I want to do things that I want to do, and I want to do them in the time period that I want to do them. I want work to revolve around my life, not my life to revolve around work. And that's what it had been for so long. So all that up until May, which was this year, all that had been happening, and now my mom got sick. My mom was diagnosed with leukemia, and it was not looking good. Her condition deteriorated very fast, and our whole family was holding their breath. We thought we were about to lose our mom. And so I immediately took a leave of absence from work and went to go be by her side. And in that experience of taking care of my mom and being her rock and being, her, basically it was almost like a switching of roles. I felt like I stepped into the mother role, being her advocate, being, the one to take care of her. So it made me realize that, life is short. Life is precious. We don't get another shot at this life. This is it. Any day that goes by is just a waste. We're just throwing it away. And we need to live in our purpose. We need to be going after our dreams, because that's the only way that we're going to reach the end of our life and say it was worth it. I did everything that I wanted to do. I left nothing undone. I didn't let fear stand in my way. I didn't let regret stand in my way. I went for it. I went for it. I didn't listen to society. I threw it all away and I went for my dreams. And so right now I'm still in a state of like, is it going to work out? I don't know. But at least I can say I went for it. I gave it my all. And when I reach the end of my life, I will not have any regrets. And I thank my mom, which by the way is now in recovery. I thank my mom for pushing me over the edge. I
Oh,
thank her for like being such an inspiration to say, hey, you know what? This life is worth fighting for and living for. And watching her fight gave me that inspiration and that motivation to finally take the leap and say, you know, what's the worst that can happen? At least I'm not losing my life. At least I'm not battling for my life. What's the worst that can happen? I get evicted. I'm not even letting him take my car. I'm selling my car. I'm like, take it. Like,
yeah.
you can't hurt me. Like, as long as I have my health and my mom and my family and everybody's good, you can't hurt me. Take it. Money
Yeah.
comes and goes. It was
Yeah.
never ours to begin with, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of like the whole story of like what led to me finally ripping the cord, but it all started with the breakup.
Whoa, that's powerful.
I
The breakup
know.
will do it, girl. A good breakup will do it. Like, that, I can't tell you how many times a breakup. Well, I left. Well, like, even if they left, I left. I always felt like they were just taking up space that I should have been channeling to my dreams anyway. So I felt that 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
Wow.
the common theme in that was every time something negative happened, I just harnessed it and let it keep pushing me forward. Like even with my mom's like illness, I took it and I was like, okay, now how can we make this something that was not worth it, but something that is meaningful out of it, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I am so happy for you because you're on that journey and doing these weekly podcast updates, I'm sure they're fueling you too, and you're up every day like you were going to work anyway, so you're just
Every
using it as
single day.
yeah, you're using it
Every
towards what
single
serves
day.
you.
Yeah, if anything, I'm more motivated because like now every day is working towards my goals, my dreams, and I think I'm constantly thinking all day like, what more can I do? What more can I do? Is there anything else I can do? Versus when when you're working for another employer, you're like, "Oh, what more do I have to do for them to like keep myself
Right.
employed?"
Yeah, I mean, going every day to work, and by the time you get home, you barely have enough energy to go to the gym. And then you go home, you cook, you eat, you relax, and it makes life go by a lot faster. And it makes you really step out and be like, wow, is that my only purpose? You know, is
So
that
true. It's
80% of my
so
life I spent at my 9 to 5? I don't want to die like that.
yeah. And looking back and go like, where did the time go? I'm like, I'm I'm 39. By the way, I'm 39,
Doesn't
and
look like it.
40 is just knocking around the corner, and all I could think about is like, I'm so glad I had the courage to do it at 39. And there's such a weird like in my timeline, it's so weird how like the biggest milestones in my life happen at the last year of each decade. So
Wow.
yeah, so at 29 I walked and got my bachelor's degree because my goal was to do it before I turned 30. And then
Wow.
I had set a goal of like, I'm going to quit my job before I turn 40. Like in the last like 2 years, I
Oh,
set that goal and I quit at 39. So
wow.
let's see, multimillionaire by 49.
You'll be billions by then.
Oh, that was
Wow.
the bar.
Wow. That's amazing. That really is. I'm
Yeah.
just so happy you're glowing and it's just transpiring here. Even I think twice about having a bad day. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
like you're only here once and I just turned 30 and I still feel like I have so much more to learn. But it feels good to have you in my life to help me with those certain parts of my life.
It really, thank you so much. It really comes down to, and I know it sounds so cliche and we hear it over and over, is like whatever mindset you have is the experience you're going to have. So if you fill your days with worries and negatives and all the possible negative outcomes, all you're going to put your focus on, and it's called your reticular activation. It's a part of your brain that starts scanning like the world for those threats, for those things, whatever you're telling your brain to look for, it's going to look for it. So if you tell yourself every day, today I'm going to make money, today I'm going to have good interactions with everybody I walk in, come encounter with, today something pleasantly unexpected is going to happen. You keep telling yourself that, you're going to scan the room for those opportunities. The best
Right.
the best example, and I don't know if you've seen this movie. Have you seen I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer?
No.
I highly recommend this movie. And it's like a funny movie, but the lesson that it teaches, and that every time I'm struggling with this, I go back and rewatch it. My sister actually bought it for me, and my sister's wise beyond her years. And the whole premise is like Amy Schumer's character says, I have all these terrible experiences because I'm not pretty, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that. And so, like, if you see in the beginning of the movie, like, all these horrible experiences happen to her. And some of them are not even happening to her, but she's reading it and interpreting it like that. Like, oh, this person cut me off, or this person talked to me like that. And so she made it her reality. And then she
Oh.
has this, like, accident. And when she wakes up from this accident, she looks herself in the mirror and she's now like her dream beauty, her dream body. But the joke is she didn't actually change. She still looks the same. She still has the same body type. She still has the same face, but her brain registered some kind of like model in the mirror, right?
Oh,
So when
wow.
she started walking through the world, she was walking with like a swagger. And so everything that people did was like, oh, this person's into me. This person wants my number. This person's this. And she, at one point, she feels so confident. She joins like this bikini contest thing.
Wow.
And, and the funny thing is, like, when you look at her, you're like, okay, she's a little overweight. Like, you wouldn't expect somebody like that to join the bikini contest, but she killed it because she came out with so much confidence and swagger. And her life improved, and she went for really outrageous goals than she would have done before, all because her mindset changed. And because the way her mindset changed, the way she interacted with the world changed, and then the way the world interacted with her changed. It's
Wow.
just, it's so true though. Like, you don't have to be the most attractive woman. You don't have to be the most attractive guy. Like, or the, like, there's something about confidence that people want to pick up on. Like, if you're happy, you're going to draw people in. If you're confident, you're going to draw people in. Like, there's an energy that people are drawn to. You don't actually have to, be perfection.
No. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna watch it. Is it recently new or?
No, it's actually been out a couple years, but I love the background on it, the story on that.
Ooh, I'm gonna rent the movie. Right now we're on a Rocky Balboa tangent, so we
Okay,
just
I
finished
love
Rocky
it.
2, and
That's
it's
so
been so amazing.
motivating. I love an underdog story. I'm all
Oh,
for
I
it.
love it. So we've been watching it. Carl's never seen it, and we recently visited, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, did the Rocky Balboa statue and stuff like that, and so he had no clue what was the hype about. So I had to show him the movies.
What?
Yeah,
God, your husband. Like,
clueless. I know.
where has he been?
I had to turn you down a little. Someone entered. But what was the next thing we were getting into?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so we were going to talk about, and actually it was inspired by you because we were talking about it, and I didn't realize. I'm like, you know what? I think this would be a good topic to talk about. Is like, how do we start defining or designing our dreams, and then going into like, how do we make it a reality? And one of the tips that I had told you, and I guess it resonated with you. I mean, what was? I'll let you say it in your own words. What was it?
Well, there's a lot of different things that played into that. One was money judges. We were talking about that before we started the call. And what I mean by money judges is, um, people often who don't earn money by themselves will flash either material things or money, and they end up never having it because they're flashing something that wasn't even their hard work. So I feel like personally, money judges, and you have to be receptive to that, whatever way it's going to go. And that's why I feel like success isn't always about winning a round. It's about getting knocked up, knocked out, like we're watching in the movie right now, and getting up every single time you're knocked down and fighting with the sharper, stronger mind, and that probably doesn't resonate, but it's something with the movie that I've been watching that transpired. And, um, I feel like there are a lot of things. I'm looking at my notes here because I remember writing some things down. Can't even, it's everywhere, but
All
what
right.
helped me be successful was going to school and learning the discipline and what it took to have the discipline. And I went through a breakup actually in 2017. I got dumped, and this guy was like obsessed with the gym, and I never understood it. I would go to the gym and I would feel no, like I never got anything out of it. Like the people that are like, oh, I feel good, I went to the gym. So I never had that. So in my community college, because I was still pursuing my associate's degree, I hadn't gotten my bachelor's yet. I signed up for an elective and I chose the gym class. Oh man, that was a decision of the rest of my, like, whatever. Within 4 months, three times, sorry, 3 times a week, I got a 4 pack, just like that,
Wow.
in 4 months. And I remember he was like this heavy set, big dude, and like he probably knew I was in pain, but I used it and I never talked to that guy again. And he ended up like creeping on my Twitter one time and liking my pictures. I was like, you didn't like me then, so you ain't gonna have me now. Like you're lost, homie. And so
So
that
funny.
really, really helped lay down the rest of my fundamentals with discipline, sacrifice. While people were out partying, drinking, I was in the gym. Like I can't feel my best, and that's what I meant to say earlier with money when it judges. When you feel your best, you're gonna receive the best, but when you don't, like, you're not putting your best foot forward every day, then you're not gonna receive the same opportunities because you're not doing that every day. You need to do the discipline, you need to do the sacrifice, you need to put your head down. And no judgment to the BBL community, but there's a reason why people run to get the shortcut when the reality is to get the body you deserve, you just still have to learn those fundamentals to get that. Because even if you do go get a BBL, you're still going to have to learn the discipline it took to keep that body. So a lot of people run to the near shortcut or a handout, and I feel like you're skipping the whole part of life with learning the process that you should have learned before doing it. And people are so fast to take a handout, so fast to take a shortcut. And it really bothers me because my parents took the shortcut and the handouts and we paid the consequences for it. And
Yeah.
so I cannot stand drug dealers um, because I grew up with it. And so seeing certain things when I'm out, it's a little hard because I wish that they could see that you could do life the right way and there is no need to flash the stuff you're wearing and your body. You don't have to show all your goods. Like I just wish that people could learn those principles because money judges. It has a conscience of its own and it chooses who it's attracted to, I feel. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. The way that I understand it is like money is a certain vibration, and you got to be on that vibration for it to be drawn to you. And so people try to fake it, by wearing the clothes, by doing this. But like you said, money, can determine who really is on that frequency and who's not. So you can fake it all day, but if you're not really about it and you haven't really put in the work and you haven't really took the sacrifice and really laid down the foundation, it's not going to come to you. Or if it does, it'll leave you as quickly as it came to you. So it's a different. I see what you're saying. So it's very important to, like, if you're going to be about it, then really be about it 100%. Like live it, breathe it, and don't take the easy way out. Actually do the work of what it takes to become a person of wealth, of substance, of whatever, of
Principle,
fitness,
value.
whatever it is that you're trying to strive for. Make sure that you are putting in the work to become that person. And part of that are the challenges. Part of that are the fails. Part of that are the rejections. Because as you're bouncing back through all of that, you are becoming this polished, beautiful gem by the end of that gauntlet. So that is part of the process. To try to skip from A to B, you're not it. And if you get there, you're not going to be able to stay there very long because you didn't build a foundation. So yeah,
Exactly what I was trying to say. And, and it goes for even letting those people come into your circle. For instance, being a role model comes at a price, right? Like, we're role models. A lot of people look up to us. And I have a friend that I knew throughout property management. And I guess, I really focus on my principles and my values every day so much that sometimes people take the trash out themselves. I don't really cut people off sometimes. It just happens that way. But she was drinking and driving, and she sent me a picture, and I saw like the seltzer in her like car, and she said, my friend just died, I'm having a bad day. And I straight up said, well, you might as well drop out of college and you might as well give your son up, because I don't stand for those things, and she never talked to me again. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, you did the right thing by telling me that to snap out of it. Money judges, and if I allow that frequency in my life and I don't stand on that, then if that girl got in a car accident, I would have felt bad for never saying anything. Then that kid is without a mom. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be 100% in there. You have to love yourself enough to tell people, hey, you're off your grid, and you're gonna mess up my frequency, And so
yeah,
the trash takes out itself. And I'm not saying she's trash or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, people dispose themselves is what I mean to say. Like, it's a certain frequency and you have to protect it. You can't allow people that aren't on that frequency to come in your ship and sink it and make holes. You have to be
yeah,
protective and mindful of everything around you, because money judges at the end of the day. And that's part of what I
yeah,
was saying, my TED
yeah.
talk.
Yeah, it's totally what you're describing are boundaries, and why boundaries are so important, because you have certain things that you value that are important to you, your mental health, your priorities, your goals, your money, your dreams, you name it. So somebody like that could totally disrupt your path. And so it's not that you don't care for the person or don't have compassion for the person, is they're no longer on the same path as you, the same goals as you, same vibration as you. So you have to have those boundaries up to make sure that you protect yourself and those dreams and those goals. And by doing that, by setting up those boundaries, people have a way of just kind of excusing themselves, because they realize, she's not like me, we're not the same anymore. Like they like to say, like, you changed, like you went to college and you changed and you became a different person, and you're like, I did not
Ouch.
go through all that sacrifice to stay the same. The goal was to change.
Yeah. And even the people that are blood closest to me, I had to leave so many people behind because I refused to be. They tried to put me in this box, and I refused to be that. I outgrew it, and some of them took that personal. But when you stand on principles, business, you realize what you are willing to put up with. And I think money channels whatever decision you're going to make. I feel that money is its frequency, it is energy. Um, and that's the way money moves.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
One
And
of the
be
last
on.
Yeah, one of the last things I was going to touch on was like, okay, so how do we start from the beginning? Like somebody who doesn't even know how to even start day one to pursue their dreams. And so my recommendation, like for me, I found I stumbled a lot of the way, but now as looking retrospectively, a good way to start, especially if you're already older, is to like, let's start with like, what kind of lifestyle do you want to have? What is it? What does it look like? What is it going to cost? And you have to like get a pen and a paper and write it down and be crystal freaking clear. Like, what does your day look like? What do you wear? Where do you go? Who do you hang out with? What do you do? And then find out what those things cost. And like, for example, like I looked up like my dream homes, like on real estate, and I was like, okay, what does that house go for? Like what would that, if I had to do a house payment, what would that house payment look like? If I want to fly private, what would that charter membership cost monthly? So I started working backwards of like, okay, let's design it. What do these trips cost? What do my dreams cost? Let's put a price tag on it. Let me get a hard concrete number and dream big. Throw it all in there. Do you want to go shop at Chanel? How much do you want to spend at Chanel? You know, what is it? Like, design it. Nothing too big. There's nothing that is too big for this dream, you know? So go sky's the limit. And so once you have a number, then there's like, now you know how to start, like what you're working towards. Because when you have like a blank, like when you are so fuzzy, there's no way of getting there. That's like saying like, how do you, like if I'm trying to go somewhere and I type it into my GPS and I'm like, hey, GPS, take me to Los Angeles. Well, that's a big city. So I'm like, it can take me to Los Angeles, but where am I trying to go? Am I trying to go to Hollywood? Am I trying to go to Sunset? Like, where am I trying to go? So you have to be crystal freaking clear about where you're trying to go. So back to that, like reticular activation I was talking about is like, once you have given your brain the instructions of this is the life I want to live, this is where I want to go, believe it or not, your body will start scanning for it, and it'll give you impulses or say, hey, this is the path to go, or maybe you should go to this event. Like me, I got the inspiration to go to this meetup where I met Angelica and where that changed my life in meeting this woman. So the universe has ways of pinging you and letting you know, but you have to have given your brain the instructions. You have to be crystal clear, and then when the universe, the frequency, whatever pings you to action, you have to take the action. Don't ask, don't question, just go. You know, and it's weird because you'll think that you're being impulsive, and in a way you are, but you're now following instructions. You know, you're not just going blankly. You're not just
you got to program that
you're
mindset.
programming, and so now what looks impulsive is actually part of the programming you've installed. So you want to make sure you keep moving in that faith. So
Right.
get your number, start looking for everything that can get you there. And believe it or not, your brain starts getting really creative. And I've done the weirdest things, gone to the weirdest places, sent a weird email, and all of a sudden, the whole path came together. You know, I've gotten mentors through college. I'm the first to go to college. I had no idea what I was going to do. And somehow I got two college educated women, older women. I'm Mexican. These were two white ladies that had my back, you know? One let me live with them, and the other one helped me like apply for master's programs and paid for it. Like, all you have to do is set your heart to the desire, and the universe will fill the rest. I mean, going back to Rocky over here, he had like no money, and he was just like an underdog with a heart. All you have to do is be the underdog with the heart, and the universe figures it out. You're gonna get the inspirational thought, and it kind of starts solving it all the way. But the reason I started with, you have to be crystal clear. You don't know what you're aiming for if you don't outline it, if you don't, you know, and then you only have to take the next step, because then the next instructions will be given once you take that step. And then the next instructions will tell you when you get there. I don't know. Okay, let's go backwards. I didn't know how to be a college graduate, but I figured out how to apply. And then I figured out how to take the first class and even register for a class. And then little by little, I became, you know, a transfer student to a university. Didn't know how to do that when I did it, but I figured it out. You just have to figure out the next step. And
It's like a rope.
It's like a rope. You don't have to worry about the whole path. I don't know everything from here to millionairehood, but I know the next step, and I'm going to keep going, and then the next step will be the next step and the next step, and we'll figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
Right, Angelica?
I very much agree with you, and I think that you have to be extremely cautious with who you're around, because what those people are doing on the weekends and what they do on the day-to-day basis really play a part on your money frequency. So be careful. I mean, with the people you hang out with, that is the biggest lesson I've learned in life altogether, because if you're hanging out with someone that's getting DWIs every year, what do you think is going to happen to you? How is it that people can channel themselves to even hang out with people like that while achieving goals. Like that freaks me out because I don't know. That's just my biggest take back from climbing this rope is mentoring, getting the exposure you want from certain people. Um, and honestly, my contact list, I from my master's, I'm super glad because all the professors were super personable. My whole contact list, if I go to the D's, is like doctor, 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 and I love it. And that is the biggest motivation for me because
I
I don't
love
have like plug, like
it.
street names on my phone, like I feel good to know that, dang, like I can text these people. I have that exposure. They know my name. And like you said, I'm just a girl from the hood. Like who would have ever even thought that I'd be sitting and talking to these people who went to Ivy League colleges? I didn't even know that was a thing. I just learned what internships were throughout my master's program. Like you have to be willing to face. It's okay to have that no confidence. That's part of growing. It's part of learning. But if you're too cool to ask, people are going to sense that, and you don't get help that way. So you have to constantly ask. You have to. Otherwise, how do you expect opportunities to grow? People will see that in you, and they'll give you an opportunity.
Oh, amen. Amen. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be like Rocky, have a heart and show that you're hungry, show that you want it and you're willing to do whatever it takes. People don't care that you don't have it perfect, but they can see authenticity. They can see a genuine heart, and that's all you need to get started, honestly, because there's so many situations that me and Angelica have put ourselves in where we know we looked dumb. We know we looked uneducated, but we're like, we don't know any other way on how to bridge this. So we're going to ask. And we might get rejection and people might make fun of us, but that was the risk we were willing to take because how else were we going to learn? Who was going to teach us? Nobody was coming to save us,
No. That's the scariest part.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you grow up like us, poor and nothing, and no one's educated. No one was coming to save us. Everybody was like, as long as you graduate high school, that's it. Like, don't get pregnant before then.
That was like the instructions I got. Graduate high school and don't get knocked up. Success.
That's it. Yeah, like what's next? Like what happens? No one programmed us to figure out what was next. Like
to think past, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end of my education, that I was passed down. Everything else was uncharted water. I had no idea. I messed up left and right. I had no idea what I was doing.
100% interviews. I mean, I've embarrassed myself asking and interviewing different professors. I've said wrong vocabulary words. I've done my resume wrong. I've misspelled things. But if I didn't do all that, I wouldn't have known how to piece everything and put it together professionally. I learned. I watched the videos. I watched the movies. I very much agree with how you started with the Disney movie. I think movies I don't watch just reality TV. I don't care about Love Island. I don't care about it. Same. Why am I going to watch those things when it's not helping me grow? The one thing I've learned about my husband is every time we watch something, it's an older movie and it's always something to take back from. So always pay attention to those movies and replicate whatever you want from it.
Whatever you feed your brain, whatever you feed your mind, that's what you're going to be living off of. You are what you read, you are what you watch, 100%. So if you're filling yourself watching, even social media could be your greatest ally or it could be your greatest enemy. If your whole algorithm is drama and just controversy and all of this crap, that's what your reality is going to be. But if you're watching stuff that inspire, that motivate, and that's the images you keep feeding yourself, then that's what you're going to be. And same thing with movies. I'm always trying to find inspirational movies about underdogs, movies that inspire, documentaries on athletes, the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh my God, he's so motivating. This guy was some kid from Austria who had a vision that he was going to go live in America. Couldn't speak the language, came from no money, and this guy made every one of his dreams come true. At one point was living in a gym. And he was happy with it. He's like, I had everything I needed there,
Wow.
So stories like that just freaking inspire me, and keep listening to that and follow the people that have defied all of the odds. And we are, on that note, we're coming up close to the end of the hour here. On our way out, we would love to leave you with a thought of motivation, inspiration, and I am going to let Angelica leave you her thought, and then I will leave you with mine.
Mine has always been a quote, and my siblings know this quote. My husband knows this quote, but mine is, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah,
That's my quote. Like, people are like, oh, I need to get ready. Spring's coming up, summer's coming up. I have my 4-pack. I'm ready still. Thanksgiving. Let's go, Maldives. I'm there. Like, put me on.
I love it.
Yeah, you have to be ready, because if not, you're never going to receive the opportunities, and you're going to deny. You're going to reject it. You're going to be like, I'm not summer ready. No, when you're ready physically and mentally, you're going to chase and be more. You know.
That is totally like when, what did they say? When preparation meets opportunity, you get success. So if you're always ready and now you finally get your opportunity, people are going to call you lucky, but no, that's success. And as long as you stay ready, the second that opportunity comes, you are ready. There's success, you know? So yeah, I like that one.
What's yours?
Mine is success is not what you do occasionally, but what you do consistently. So I guess we were kind of on the same path there.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's what you do. You know, like I said earlier, you get knocked out, you get up and get your butt up again and do it again. You know, I've made mistakes in my life that stood on principles, and you know, it's kind of petty. My siblings are like, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you did that. And I'll do it again.
Do it again. But yeah, that's our note for you guys. We hope you found it motivating and inspiring. If there's any topics you'd ever like us to cover, please leave it in the comments or directly message us. And until we meet again, have a great week. Bye.
Bye.